So my software company just reached 10K in MRR. That means we're making $10,000 per month recurring every single month. And that is without me having to write a single line of code. And so I want to show you the 9 steps I'm taking that you can copy to try and do the same. But we don't need all this fancy editing. So let me just jump straight into my computer and take you behind the curtain into what these 9 steps are. Right, so we're here. Let's break it down. The blueprint from 0 MRR, that's monthly recurring revenue, to $10,000 in MRR with Saas. Now, this is where we're at the moment, 11,000, so it's a bit above the 10K mark, but my point still stands. So here are the 9 tips that I think you should follow if you want to do the same. So first things first is, if this is your first business venture, don't do it. Because the reality is that SaaS is extremely complicated, right? It's also extremely expensive. And most likely, if it is your first type of business, whether it's SaaS or agency or dropshipping, you're gonna fail, right? Nobody succeeds with their first business. So don't start with a business that's extremely hard and extremely expensive, right? Because most likely, 90% chances that you're gonna fail, right? So 99% chances you're going to fail. Don't start with a high intense capital and high time intensity business, because it's hard, and you might as well just start with drop shipping, social media management, because if you fail at those, you just waste time. With software, you waste time and a lot of money, right? And there's a lot of stuff that comes into building a software company that you learn from building these past businesses. SaaS, and this one right here in specific, isn't my first business. Actually, this is my actual second software, right? It's not my first one either. And previously, I did dropshipping, I did SSMMA, I did freelancing, I did all these things, right? SaaS wasn't my first business venture. And don't do it, because again, my premise behind this is that if you're just now starting a business, you will most likely fail. So don't go for a high capital intense business, because software is very expensive and very demanding, right? So that's the very first thing. Now, with all the beginners away from here, nothing against them, but I mean, just telling you the truth, right? I'm not trying to sell you anything here that will make you lose money. Second step is try to capitalize on a trend and ride the wave. Now, this applies to anything, right? Whether you're doing social media marketing or AI marketing or AI agencies or drop shipping with trending products. This also applies, actually it applies in any business, right? But in software, it also applies very, very well. And so in this case, our software here is in the AI space, right? And maybe if we had chosen a software in a different niche, in a different area that wasn't blowing up so hard, right? Maybe our growth would have been a little slower, right? Who knows? But because we've positioned ourselves in a growing industry, our growth was also accelerated in parallel, right, with how fast the industry grows, right? Again, if you're choosing an industry that's more or less plateauing, your growth, you will grow as well, right? But your growth might be a little less accelerated, right? So keep that in mind when building a SaaS. It isn't necessary, but with building any business, right? Again, whether you're selling a physical product, information, anything you're selling, try to keep it within a trend and something that's popping off and ride the wave as much as you can, right? Of course, you can always build boring businesses, but with software, to get the first traction, to get things going fast, because you want to get things going fast as possible, because every day you're not making sales, you're losing money because software is expensive, right? You got server costs, you got developer costs, right? So every day you're not making money, you're losing money. So a way to fasten and to speed up the process is to build on a growing industry, right? Pretty straightforward. Now, number 3 is partner up, right? Even if you're a technical co-founder. What do I mean by this, right? So myself here, I'm not a technical co-founder. I don't know how to code. So I literally had to partner up, right? And this is a 2-part issue right here. Let me just move this away. Because myself, like I said, I'm not a technical co-founder, so I don't know how to code. So I had 2 choices. Either go to, for example, Upwork or Fiverr and hire a developer, which is a huge mistake. And I spoke about this in my last video. Essentially, putting it short, is because people you hire as freelancers are great, right? They're great developers. The issue is that they don't have skin in the game, because they don't have equity in the company. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast. I'm stumbling upon my words. But because they don't have equity in the company, they don't care, right? What happens if you spend all this time, right, investing into trying to find a developer for your company, you pay him all this money, he gets the product going, he builds the whole software, builds the whole building, because you got to think of a software as a building, right? It's the building with windows and a door down here. And a year later, 6 months later, he leaves the company, right? He has a new opportunity and he goes away, right? What do? You're stranded, because you as a founder, as a non-technical co-founder, are 100% dependent on the technical co-founder, on the developers. If they go away, You got to go through all the process again to finding someone else, right? And also, you have no idea if they took the code and use it somewhere else, right? There's so much uncertainty, and you're going to die with this uncertainty. You're going to suffer a lot. You're going to be very, very stressful. How do I know? Because I did that mistake with my first software company. I was fortunate enough to have the money to invest in the company, invest in paying someone to build the technical product for me. And then I thought, okay, I just paid this guy some money, and then I'll grow this myself. That's not a good idea, because the building, once it's built, right, the software, let's call this software this building, you constantly need to be improving it. Otherwise, it's going to have cracks, right? Eventually, it's going to fall, right? No software can just be built like this, and then you don't need to do anything. Because my thought was, okay, I just build a software, and then I just have to pay the developer when I need it, or when I need him to add new features. For example, a helipad up here, or larger windows. So I was thinking that I need to just pay him when I need to better the product. That's not reality, right? The reality is that the business and the SaaS is going to have cracks, and the developer is always needed, because things always break all the time with software. And so my mistake was not partnering up and hiring someone, and then you end up paying them more. You're 100% dependent on them. You don't know if they're going to go away. Sometimes they want to go away, so you have to find someone else. And then when you want to find someone else, the old developer needs to tell the new developer how the software works, right? How the building works, how's the plumbing, like what's the structure. And this takes a lot of time and money, right? So it's insane. I made this mistake. Don't make this mistake. Now, the other route is just start 50-50, right? 50-50 with someone else, right? 50% for the marketing co-founder and 50% for the technical co-founder, right? That's what I did with this new software company right here. We have 50% one, 50% the other, right? And because the developer, the technical co-founder, has half of the company, he has vested interest in making it grow and making it thrive, right? And so you're not dependent on another person, right? Yes, you don't have 100% of the company, but you have much less of the headaches, and you can grow this much, much further than you could ever grow if you just alone, right? 50% of 100 million is much more than 100% of 10 million or 100% of $1,000, right? You get the point, right? So really partner up. And I know you might want to not partner up because you're really like myself. You're going to think, I can do this myself. But listen, it's going to suck, right? Finding a developer is going to be fun at first. Once they're working and once they want to leave, it's going to suck. And once they do leave, finding a new developer is going to suck once again. It's very, very hard. And again, think of a software company as a business, as a building, that once built, it's not just going to stay there. It's going to start having cracks. Plumbing is going to break. Electricity is going to break. And you need someone to fix it. And you, as a non-technical co-founder, won't be able to do it, right? So that's super, super important. Moving on to number 4, realize that most likely it will fail, and it's going to be hard, right? That's probably with any business. That's probably with any business, right, that you start. But just know that if a SaaS fails, you lose a lot of money, right? Just keep that in mind. Even if you partner up 50-50, you still lose money and time, and it's fucking hard, right? I guess this is a bit generic, but I did want to include it here because I think it's very, very important. Now, moving on to number 5, which is marketing. In terms of marketing, you got to test, and test again, right? I've spoken about this in my last video about the marketing channels, that you should only test 1 or 2 at a time. Don't test every single one because you're going to fail. But the ones you do try, the marketing channels you do try, whether that's YouTube, cold email outreach, printing flyers, speaking with whatever people on the street, test all of these different marketing channels, because you never know what's going to work. And what works for me, what works for my software, won't work for yours, and vice versa, right? Different softwares in different industries have different things working for them. Maybe cold calling works great, and you don't know until you try. So test and try as many marketing channels as possible, right? This might seem cliche, but oftentimes people just test one thing, doesn't work, and they quit on the idea. While they might be sitting on a golden goose, like a super profitable idea, they haven't tested enough things. And testing comes inside of the platform, right? Let's say you choose testing comes in terms of the platform you choose, so YouTube, Twitter, maybe Facebook, maybe cold email, and then also inside of the platform, inside of YouTube. Are you doing long form? Are you doing shorts? Are you optimizing your thumbnails? How are you doing your titles, the keywords? So there's a lot of testing you can do with just one platform, right? With just one marketing channel. So don't give up and just test over again, and only move on to the other or to the next marketing channel once you think you've exhausted one or the other. So it's super important, and that's something I've talked about in previous videos, but do keep that in mind. Number 6, big one here. product, right? You got to iterate and ship fast. Iterate and ship as fast as you possibly can, right? And iteration, right, breeds success, right? You start with a shitty wheel, and then the wheel becomes two wheels, right? And then the two wheels become connected, and then you add like this, then you add like things where people can put their hands, then you have a seat where people can sit, right? Then you do aerodynamics, so this can go faster. Then you add an engine here that it can go 10 times faster, right? Then you add bigger wheels so it can go up mountains, right? So your product is going to start as a little cell and it's going to grow, right? But you got to iterate and ship fast, right? You got to build this super, super fast because software is hyper competitive, right? And customers are wanting the best out of you, right? And so to do this, the best way is to make the product super simple. To do this, the product needs to be simple, right? Start with a wheel and then, ask customers what they want, and then improve the product from there. But be fast. Be fast in both asking customers what they want, because those are the people that are paying you, and be fast in improving and iterating the product. And for that, for fast iteration and fast shipping, you need a quality developer. You need to partner up with someone that knows what they're doing, right? A high-end developer that really knows their craft. Super, super important. I'm lucky enough to have partnered with someone that's extremely good at developing software. He's been doing it since he was 13 years old. And I just realized you have no idea how old he is right now, so you have no idea for how long he's been doing it. But yeah, a lot of years, 10 plus years. So big one right here, iterate and ship fast, right? Super, super important. I cannot tell you how important this is. And the concept of the bicycle or whatever car this is hyper important as well, because you got to start small and then build from there. Super important. Number 7, don't build shit unless people ask for it or you're certain they'll need it. It's a big mistake. And I made this mistake with my first software company. I just started building, like as I said, the building, right? I did all the big windows. I did the helipad up here. I did the big door. I did amazing plumbing, so I did all the things that I thought people would want. And then when customers came into my hotel or my my building, they really didn't use the helipad. They really didn't use the windows or the plumbing, right? So I made stuff that I thought people would want, and I spent a lot of time and money in building these things, and then people didn't use them at all. So don't build shit unless people ask for it or you're certain they'll need it. So that's why you start with a little cabin, right? A little shitty wooden cabin, just like the analogy for the bicycle. And then if people say, I want bigger doors, you build a bigger door. Then if people say, I want this building to have bigger, build the business bigger, the building bigger. And they say, this has no windows, let's build some windows. Okay, so build the windows, right? So you start small and you build from there. Don't build it just like this from the get-go. I think number 7 here is the biggest mistake people make, me included, because like I said, I made this mistake with my first software. It's cost you so much time, so much money, but I'm thankful that I did it, because it made me realize that I won't ever do it again. So big one right here, start small. Remember the bicycle analogy, remember the building analogy. Start with a shitty wooden hut and then build out to the concrete high-rise building. Then, number 8, focus on LTV and yearly subscriptions. LTV stands for lifetime value or long-term value. Essentially, you want a customer to, so let's say they're paying you $49 a month, right? Your goal, right, that's $49 every single month. Your goal is that they stay for as long as you can. So this is the timeline right here. That's time. These are month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, till the year is ended and onward. Your goal is that they stay and pay every single month. They pay the $49 a month. Because if someone stays on for 10 months, now they're worth almost $500, right? So your goal is to increase the lifetime value or the long-term value of a customer. And the way you can do this is, through monthly subscriptions and putting out new features and communicating with your customers and all that, because if they see you're improving the product and they see they're making the product better, they will stay on for more time. Another way you can do this is focus on yearly subscriptions. So make them pay a year upfront. Offer a 50% discount, right? Offer a 50% discount and make them pay a year upfront, right? Big one right here, and I can elaborate more on this if you'd like, but don't want to make this video super, super long because it's already mega long. And final one. Number 9, learn to prioritize, because you cannot tackle everything. The reality is that you're going to have bugs. You're going to have people asking for stuff in customer support. Things are breaking all the time. Nothing will ever be, and nothing is ever perfect. So eventually you're going to choose between, do I fix this bug or do I reply to this customer support? And you got to take the two and see which one has the higher ROI, right? Which one will increase the business? Is it fixing this bug, or is it replying to this customer that has that is paying me to for my software, right? Most likely it is this one. However, sometimes the bugs are critical. Sometimes the bugs is the site breaks or the feature breaks. So you gotta think and you gotta evaluate based on your situation what the issue is and choose and prioritize, because again, you cannot tackle everything at the same time. And yeah, just choose the one with the higher ROI. Hopefully this was a valuable video. That's the blueprint, and more of these videos coming every single week. If you like this, let me know. Comment below what you think. Like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to push as much valuable content as I want. I have no course to sell you on Saas. I'm not the guru, none of that. If you do want to know how I made money to invest and start software businesses, because they're quite expensive, I did all that with freelancing. And I do have like $100 course to sell you if you want. If not, I mean, you can learn everything I know on the internet online. I mean, I'm selling you $100 course on how I got the money to do this. But I learned all that online by trying and testing. So if you don't want to buy it, no worries. But just saying that if you do want to buy it, it's linked down below. And that's essentially how I got the money to start with software. But again, if you're a beginner, don't start with software. It's very dangerous, very expensive, and you're most likely going to fail. So if you're going to fail at something, fail at freelancing, fail at dropshipping, fail at social media management, don't fail at SaaS because it's highly, highly expensive. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one next week. Cheers.